Thank you for joining us. Welcome to LumioseStation.
Hello LumioseStation and welcome back to another episode of Pokémon DataDex with me, TheOneIntegral. Today we're looking at the Pokémon Trevenant that was introduced in Generation 6. Before we start, you can suggest any Pokémon you want to see in future episodes down in the comment section below, so feel free to do that. Anyway, on to today's episode. So, Trevenant is the Elder Tree Pokémon and has a Ghost Grass type. It is number 709 in the National Pokedex and also features in the Mountain Kalos Pokedex as number 62. Trevenant is 4 foot 11 inches tall or 1.5 meters tall and weighs 156.5 pounds or 71 kilograms. Trevenant is in the grass and amorphous groups of breeding and is a male and female half and half, 50% of the time male, 50% of the time female. You get what I mean. A Phantom will evolve into Trevenant when it's traded, so it's a simple evolution then. You can get level 1 Trevenant if you really want to. Anyway, base stats. Fairly decent. Attack is obviously the highest stat there, and then the rest of them are really just mediocre, middle-ish sort of thing. Health points 85 is the other thing to look at. Special defense also 82, so fairly high there. Obviously special attack and speed are not good at all, being very low, 60, 56, etc. So yeah, it's more of a attacking with a special defense bulk. So first up, looking at its typing, being a Ghost Grass type, it resists grass, water, ground and electric type moves, and is weak to fire, flying, ghost, ice and dark type moves. It's also immune to normal and fighting type moves, thanks to the ghost type, and also it just takes neutral damage from everything else. So you can see it has a pretty good typing here. Obviously it's immune to 2 types because of the ghost type, so it's sort of not too bad, I suppose. And obviously it's weak to 5 types, when it only resists 4, so it's not brilliant on type front, because it is weak to more than it resists, but really it's not too bad. So next up, if we look at Trevenant's abilities, it has 2 sort of normal abilities, which are Natural Cure, which heals all status conditions when it switches out, and also Frisk, which checks the opposing Pokemon's held items. So when you send your Trevenant out, it would say, Trevenant frisked, Talonflame, Talon's flame was holding a life orb, etc. So it's really not a great ability in my opinion. But yes, because obviously if it's a life orb, you can tell when they use a move anyway, so it's really not too helpful. Anyway, the hidden ability there is what really sort of brings Trevenant apart from everything else, is Harvest, which may create another berry after one is used. We'll get onto this a bit more later on. So looking at some of the Trevenant's highlighted moves here, starting off at level 23 it learns Leech Seed, which is a grass type move, obviously seeds the opponent and then restores you some of the health points at the end of each turn. Then we have Will-O-Wisp at level 31, which is helpful for obviously basically nulling physical attackers, which use Will-O-Wisp, and they are really just not going to be much help at all in the rest of the battle. Then we have Phantom Force at level 45, which is a physical ghost move, which is pretty powerful. Then we had Wood Hammer at level 49, which is a physical grass move. It's powerful, but then again you do take recoil from it, so may want to think about that. Then level 55 it learns Shadow Claw, which is again another powerful ghost type move. Then it learns Horn Leech at level 62, which is another physical grass move. This one, however, instead of giving you recoil, actually restores your health, so it's the opposite. Then it learns Protect from TM17, and Rest from TM44, and finally Substitute from TM90. We'll get onto more, how we're going to use these moves together in just a second in the Wi-Fi battling setups. So, the first Wi-Fi battling setup. This setup is looking more at a sort of a health point restoring switch setup, as I would just briefly call it there. Moveset here is Rest, Shadow Claw, Will-O-Wisp, and then Wood Hammer or Horn Leech. Ability is Natural Cure, Nature is Careful, held item is Leftovers, and EVs are maximum health points, 80 in special defense, and 176 in speed. Okay, so first off, looking at its moveset. Here we have Rest, which obviously, you go to sleep and you restore all your health points, which we're going to combine with the ability Natural Cure. So, you rest up, you go to sleep, and then after that turn, you just switch out your Trevenant, and then they're not asleep anymore, so then you can just switch them back in whenever you want, and they got a full set of health points. So yeah, it's really helpful It's really quite helpful there. That's the way I meant to say it. Then obviously got Shadow Claw, which is obviously one of your main attacking moves, for ghost types, to take out psychic types, other ghost types, etc. Then we have Will-O-Wisp, which again, as mentioned just now, helps to null any physical attackers on the enemy team. And then we have Wood Hammer or Horn Leech, both grass type moves. It's just up to personal preference which one you use. Wood Hammer does do more damage, however you do then take the recoil from it, which could be combined with the Rest for, a good setup there. Or you can just go for the Horn Leech if you want to stay in for a bit longer, and then use the Rest only when it's needed. Then we look at the ability, as I said, Natural Cure is what we're going to combine with the rest, and obviously any other status affliction you manage to come across, paralysis, poison, etc. The Careful Nature there actually boosts special defense and lowers, not physical attack, special attack, because obviously we're not a special attacker, and as you would recall from the base stats, the special defense is our highest defense, so obviously that's, the one, if we're going to be wanting to stay in a bit longer, that's the one we're going to invest the EVs in, rather than obviously physical defense. And then obviously held item here is leftovers, just to get that extra health point restore really, to combine it with Horn Leech and obviously rest when it's needed, just really helps you to stay in the battle a bit longer. As I mentioned just then, EVs, maximum health points, just to give you the bulk, I guess, to stay in. 80 in special defense, as I mentioned, combine that with a Careful Nature, you've got a bit of a special defensive tank there. And obviously then 176 in speed, because that helps you sort of outspeed a certain amount of Pokemon with your Rest or Shadow Claw or Will-O-Wisp, because obviously with Will-O-Wisp, the thing you want to do is you want to get in there and you want to just get the Will-O-Wisp off before they can even attack you on the turn. So obviously being faster than some certain Pokemon with the Will-O-Wisp can obviously help you out a lot, because obviously something that would have killed you will not kill you, and then you can use Rest or something like that. So it's very quite helpful just to put that amount of speed in, so you can outspeed and sort of just pretty much stay alive. So yeah, basically, that's the strategy for that, just attack for a bit, use the Will-O-Wisp when it's needed, and then obviously, if you need to, rest, switch out to another Pokemon, and then switch back in when you need it, and it's rested up, no sleeping at all. So it's a fairly good setup there, but I don't know. I don't know if I would say it's as good as the next setup, because the next setup is pretty good and can take, well, if people aren't expecting it, it can take them off guard. It took me off guard the first time I saw a Harvest Trevenant in battle. So yeah, let's get on to that setup, shall we? Okay then, so Harvest Trevenant time. Let's just get straight on with it, shall we? Moveset, Leech Seed, Substitute and Protect, Will-O-Wisp and then Shadow Claw. Ability being Harvest, Nature being Impish, held item being a Citrus Berry, and then EVs being maximum health points, 120 in defense, and then 132 in speed. So let's look at the moves first. Obviously the Leech Seed allows you to sort of just set the Leech Seed up, you get the bit of health point restore at the end of the turn. It sort of accounts for your leftovers, since we're not using leftovers on this setup, so it's your, it's your turnly restore of health. So since we're not using the leftovers because we have to use the berry because of Harvest, just helps you out a bit there. Then we have Substitute or Protect. Protect obviously is good if you want to stall, if you're, I don't know, waiting for your Leech Seed to heal you up or something like that. It's good to use the Protect. Or you can use Substitute, which obviously means you can hide behind the Substitute while you again, obviously, restore some more health points. Again, you have to remember the Substitute could just get taken out on the turn you set it up on, but then obviously that's not as Protect is more useful in that case, because Protect actually just, you don't lose any health from using Protect, whereas Substitute you do have to sacrifice some of your health points to use it. Then we have Will-O-Wisp, as I mentioned just with the previous setup as well. It's good for nulling physical attackers, so again, it's pretty much the same thing there. And then we have Shadow Claw, which is our only attacking move on this setup, because this is more of a stalling, and then, you sort of take him out slowly, I guess you could say. Then we have the ability Harvest. Now the thing that Harvest does is, for example, you got your full health points Trevenant there, a physical attacker comes in, and you're not faster than it, so it uses, I don't know, let's say it uses Dragon Claw. And Dragon Claw takes you down to about 25% health, or maybe 30-40% health. So then your Citrus Berry activates and restores your health points up to about 70, 80-ish, something like that. And then the Harvest, I'm not quite sure what the exact chance is. I think it's like a 30% chance. The Harvest has a chance to restore your Citrus Berry at the end of the turn. So, you get another Citrus Berry back. So then they come to attack you again, they get you down to maybe 10% health this time, and then your Citrus Berry comes in again, gets you back up to, 50%, etc. So that's giving you some more time in battle, whereas they would have just taken you out anyway. And something like that. Harvest does actually carry on over, turn after turn, so, if you didn't get it back on the first turn, on the second turn there's still again the third chance you'll get it back. However, Harvest will not work if your berry has been incinerated or knocked off, or similar, something thiefed, etc. So it doesn't work in that case. It's just generally if you've used it, you've got a chance to get it back again. So that's always a really helpful ability with Harvest, because your enemy could attack you, get you down to low health, and like, yes, one more turn and we get you, and then the Citrus Berry comes in, and it's like, oh no, and especially if you're if they're a special attacker and they can't do much damage to you, because you can then, tank the move, get down to low health, and then restore, last turn's damage or whatever, so keep yourself one step ahead of the game, which is always very helpful, especially with something like, Substitute or Protect. You could use a substitute and then that'll take you down to low health, and then the harvest, the Citrus Berry restores you back up, and then the harvest, gives you another one. So very helpful. Then you'll see the nature here, is Impish rather than what we had just now, which was Careful, and Impish boosts your defense and lowers your what was it? Lowers your special attack. Now you'll notice on the base stats, defense isn't too amazing. It's not very high, but obviously again this is like with Vaporeon last week, I believe. It's sort of boosting both defenses up. So instead of just focusing all your efforts on your best defense, you're focusing majority of them on the lower defense, and the best defense sort of comes up level with it. So you're a rounded out Pokemon rather than just being really good and one sort of defensive move there, and they can just come in and sort of sweep you with a special attacker, etc. So something similar to that. So that's why we got the Impish nature here, and as you'll see in a minute, the EVs in defense. Held item here is obviously the Citrus Berry, because otherwise this thing wouldn't work. Obviously don't want an Orange Berry because that's only 10 health points, so don't go thinking about that at all. And obviously the other berries generally that restore health, at least, they're all about confusing and stuff like that. So really Citrus Berry is the way to go. EVs again here, maximum health points again, because as you'd expect, that's just how we go with Trevenant. Then we have, again as I mentioned, 120 in defense, and the 132 in speed here will again allow you to outspeed a certain amount of Pokemon. Obviously it's a few less than in the other setup, because we didn't need to install as many in special defense to get a decent defense there, but obviously with this we need to put quite a few EVs in the defense to level up with the special defense so it's decent. So obviously we're a bit slower in this setup, but really since we're a tank setup rather than, obviously they're both tank setups, this is more of a staying in. You can use Protect on your first turn if you really want to. You don't necessarily have to be faster, and obviously the Will-O-Wisp is still there, even if as long as you survive the first attack, you can get the Will-O-Wisp off. The Harvest Citrus Berry will kick in, you'll get your health points back, you can use Protect next turn, hope that Harvest is going to activate, and you can just really stall it out, especially with Protect. So say you don't get your berry back first turn, you can then use your Protect and hope for it to come back the next turn, and obviously then you get it back and you get your health point restored. Everyone's happy, apart from the opponent of course, but yeah, it's generally a good setup. You just got to learn how to use it well. So guys, I think this is really it for this episode of Pokemon DataDex. I hope it was very informative for you. If it was, leave a like down below, and you can also again suggest some more Pokemon for me to look at in future weeks. You can also check out the other videos on LumioStation. We've got some awesome content, and you can also follow me on Twitter at TheOneIntegral, and also on YouTube as well, and stuff like that. So guys, thanks for watching. I shall see you next time. Goodbye.